Well, hello, it's been a while since I've done a new fan-related video, or any of it for that matter. Welcome to Heimwald. What we have here is a nice little picnic area, fairly private, owned by the Casper Gladfelder Association. I've been doing some work here, electrical and stuff. Of course, fan install. Here's just a little quick thing for you guys, though, in case you're wondering what the association is. Anyway, this place is a nice old semi-timber frame setup. The oldest parts of them there, on back. Then they added this section here on this end. Then they built the outer parts. It gets very hot and stuffy in this place, and the only thing they had were a pair of rattly old gable fans. So, and 4 lights where the center boxes are. So I took it upon myself to add ceiling fans and move the lights out to these newer LED setup. These fans are all just their typical Hampton Bay industrials. Speed control is a variac, because the variable speed is the best way to control a fan. Especially outdoors like this where you might want anything from full blast down to almost nothing. These need a minimum of about 10 volts, and this wiring was made worse by a couple facts. The biggest problem was there were no ground wires. They had a ground wire coming from the panel, from the sub panel up through here, and down over to those outlets, but no ground for these switches, outlet over here, or for those or some others. So I had to pull some ground wires as well. One to the outlet there. I also pulled ground wires to the corner outlets over there. That one was easy because it's right by the big box. So that was easy. That was an easy ground. Loop, over, down. This one, I couldn't get a ground wire through the old conduit. It kept catching on the fittings, so I just looped it down and around like, yeah, professional, but it works. Sometimes it's just called make it work. And I really need to see if I can get them to change those to GFIs. This one of which has been replaced a couple times, obviously. The fitting broke off and water got in. Yeah, but I went with the pewter versions. Personally, I would have gone with black, but pewter was what they had on a good price on eBay. Takes about 20 volts to keep them all running steadily. That one's a little lazy. The other two will run at 10. So I'm just going to put it down to 10, see if that one stopped being lazy now that they've all been run on high. But this isn't the first fans I did there. The first I did were back in this building. 2 more, back when they only sold those industrials in white. I did 3 of them. I did 2 of them in here. Then I painted up to a nice charcoal and brown, because I thought that would look best in this building. Those other ones maybe I should someday paint up like this too, because I really like that look. These are just on a standard solid state control. So they're a little noisy, but that would be too noisy for out there. So that's low. Let's bring it up to about a medium. They're working pretty good. That was like a medium low. Now we're more the medium to medium high. This one really wobbles. Now we're into more the true, that was more like a medium. This is a true medium high. Or high speed rather. So there's high. That one's real wobbly. I need to put LED bulbs in these outside lights sometime like I did out in the other building. That one really wobbles. I'm doing spin down. We'll see who stops first. Of course, the fun thing about the Variac in the other building is we can do more than 100. Yeah. We can do more than 120 volts if necessary. We can do 135. So you can go faster than high speed, although I wouldn't do that for long. It might burn out the motors. Probably not. Because they're rated for 125 volts. For pushing 130 isn't that much of the other voltage. I don't know if wobbler or... I don't know why that one wobbles. Maybe there's more weight on paint on one of the blades. I'll have to check it, maybe, or maybe there's some dirt stuck on top of one of them. Let's see. So front or the back going to stop first? This was the refreshment building, basically. And this little building gets so hot, even with the sides opened up. So that's why it has so much fan for so small space. That other one only gets stuffy. Looks to me like the back fan's going to win because, which makes sense, wobbling cuts the efficiency of the fan slightly. Because some of the power of the motor is being wasted swinging it around. Yeah, back wins. I'm not going to let them stop entirely. Might as well. Alright, I'm going to move over to the other ones. That middle one, as I said, is kind of lazy. I have them at 10 volts and the middle one just doesn't want to turn at 10 volts. The other two do barely, but the middle one just stops. So, I don't know, maybe the bearings are a little stiffer in that one. Of which this was the lazy one because this area gets less use. Might swap those two out for that reason at some point. 15 volts, the middle one still doesn't want to turn. At 20 it does, barely, so I consider 20 volts to be the minimum allowed voltage for these, although they work a heck of a lot better at about 30 volts. The low of those others is maybe around equivalent to about 40. If I were to do a spin down, I suspect that one would lose. That middle one. I will put up a couple more fans later on. So the 20 to 40 volt range is basically your aesthetic low rate. 20 to 30 volts is aesthetic low. 40 is functional low. 50 gives you I would call that a sort of the medium low, maybe. At 60 volts, still medium low, maybe maybe going into medium. $70 is definitely solidly in medium. Maybe then more. The boxes do wobble slightly, but it doesn't concern me because I've got 8-inch long lags that go through the centers of the mounting brackets and through some heavy washers, through the mounting brackets, through a knockout on the top of the box, all the way up into the ceiling, so they aren't going anywhere. By 80 volts, you're clearly going past medium into the medium-high range. that would be like a fast medium. 90, you're starting to get definitely into medium high. And they're starting to make noise. And move the good air. 100 volts, which is what I would consider the highest normal operations range, is clearly into a high speed range. It's not full high though, but it's moving a lot of air. That's where you sort of go into. That's why I said now we're going into overdrive, the beginning of the turbo range. 100 starts to move even, 10 moves even more air. Let's go full normal high, 120. This is high. They do move more air than 100, but not a lot more. And that one wobbles like something else. May have to check the mounting bolt and make sure it's tight. I'm not worried about it, as I said, because I did mention I have bolts going in. I just don't think I have that bolt tight enough. Finally, I'm going to go turbo range. This is getting all we can do. Doesn't really move that much more air. It's just these motors are maxed out at 110, so I'm going to turn it down to 0, turn the thing off, set it back to 120 because I'm going to have to do a little thing, and I'm going to spin it down while I explain the future plans. That one will lose the spin down for sure because it is the lazy one. The future plans are to add a cross beam motor here on this side, another cross beam motor here, so 2 more fans there. By the way, the variac for the next group will go on this post. And the final fan will go in this space, down here of the vinyl clad section. Probably on this beam, middle of the section, either below it or possibly above it, just depending on the situation. I will have to measure to determine whether we'll have adequate clearance to put it on the bottom. I don't think so. I don't mind putting it above either, so that's the remaining plans. The CFLs in this section are going to be replaced with more LEDs. Those are 6500s. These are the other bulbs are 5000K. So daylight bulbs, because this is an outdoor setting, I see no reason I detest warm white bulbs. I absolutely detest them. Looks like this one's going to stop first, as I said. I might swap that one and that one just because I want the lazy, because I would rather have the lazy fan be in the smaller section over here by itself. Now, a really cool install would be a bunch of 3-blade fiberglass blade blender fans, but I don't have those. Or 4-blade ones with a pull chain through the flywheel type or something. It would be a blender fan install, but I don't have enough fiberglass bladed blender fans to do all this. I would need a total of 8. If I had a chance to get a hold of a whole bunch of blenders, or if somebody else had a whole bunch they were willing to donate to something like this, or sell at a decent price, I'd be happy to do it. And I don't know if this fan or end one's going to stop next. So let's just see which one's going to stop next. You or down at the end there. I think that one's going to stop next, down at the end. I'm not sure. That's still going. That's still going. That one just stopped. That one just stopped. Those tie, interesting. So this one is just lazier than the others. That is all. Till I have more work done here. Thank you.